What up? It's your boy King Dow 225 coming at you with another reactionary video. So hit that like and subscribe, become part of the kingdom. On Sundays, I just can't find nothing to react to. So I got these collections in my YouTube playlist, reaction videos. And this one here is I started watching ESPN a long time ago. R.I.P. Stuart Scott. Not because of the bullshit they put on, but because, I stopped because of modern technology. I don't need to go to a cable network and get my sports highlights anymore. I can go online. But if I was still watching ESPN, I'd be boycotting right now. Because Malika Andrews clearly despises men of color. So shout out to Pink Book Lesson. Let me give her a like, because I fucks with her tough. I'm gonna react to her video of Malika Andrews. The truth about Malika Andrews trying to destroy Brandon Miller. If y'all don't know, she like to say a lot of slick shit out of her mouth when it comes to men of color. And they had an NBA draft recently, and they had one of the draft pick like, oh yeah, and he was part of it. Like, I ain't had nothing to do with that. Why are you bringing it up? Why are you constantly bringing it up? Why are you constantly bringing up negative shit about black men? I don't want to just say men of color. It's just black men she got an issue with. She might not have an issue with, but clearly she got an issue. But let's get to Pink Book Lesson and her breakdown. I'm doing my commentary.
To try to destroy another black man on live television while covering the NBA draft, something that Malika. I've been covering this Ms. Andrews in all of her plays on ESPN, and I see the Chihuahua pit bull mutt is back at it again. Honestly though, she never left. Malika Andrews took the opportunity to try to destroy another black man on live television while covering the NBA draft, something that she shouldn't have been doing anyway. Out of the 5 people they had on there, 3 were women. We're talking about men's basketball. But this time, Malika Andrews...
3 women. I'm not saying women don't like men's basketball, but this is agenda on purpose. Like, why the hell they ain't covering WNBA? Don't they need coverage?
Went after Brandon Miller, who spent 1 season playing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The consensus 5-star recruit quickly established himself as one of the top players in college basketball. Absolutely one of the best in the 2023 class. He was selected in the 2023 NBA draft as the 2nd overall pick by the Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets select Brandon Miller from the University of Alabama.
Brandon Miller, the SEC Player of the Year, the Newcomer of the Year. Mitch Kupchak, the general manager in Charlotte, he was in attendance for Miller's season-high 41 points against South Carolina. That was back in February.
But before Brandon was selected, earlier that night, it was Malika Andrews who decided it was the perfect opportunity to bring up an ongoing murder case where Brandon's Alabama teammate was charged back in January 2023, but Brandon was not charged in connection with the crime. Well, because he didn't delete anybody. And actually, his teammate didn't either, by the way. But Malika couldn't help herself. No, she couldn't miss the opportunity to sabotage this guy on the same night of the NBA draft, before Charlotte made the big decision.
His name did surface in court testimony involving a case where his former teammate and another man, they've been indicted for capital murder in the fatal shooting of 23-year-old Jamia Harris in January.
Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates.
Hit that like and subscribe.
There's been a large effort to destroy the reputation of Brandon Miller ever since the incident in January 2023 when he was at the University of Alabama. The incident happened in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Follow this, between one of the friends of Brandon Miller's teammates and the guy the teammate's friend randomly ran into that night after hanging out at a bar. The friend of Brandon's teammate got into a shootout with that man, and during that shootout, the man's girlfriend was deleted. The victim was a 23-year-old mother Jamia Harris. Now, the media, they've been trying to tie Brandon Miller to the whole situation because he's the star player. So they arrested the Alabama player Darius Miles, who did not pull the trigger, along with his childhood friend who did pull the trigger. That man, Michael Davis. His name is hardly ever mentioned. Again, it's because he didn't play for Alabama. And from my understanding, he wasn't even enrolled at the school. I see some of Malika's peers. These goofies are trying to take up for her, talking about it was the elephant in the room. No, it wasn't. Why would it be the elephant in the room on draft day? Brandon Miller.
Why would it be the elephant in the room? He had shit to do with it. And y'all think, oh, this is a one-time occurrence. But Pink Book Lesson about to break down all the things that we know that Malika Andrews, slick shit that came out of her mouth and the shit that she done tried to do. Even to Jalen Rose. Shout out Jalen Rose.
Didn't kill nobody, and his former teammate didn't either. Every block, everyone who reported that story made everyone believe that it was Darius Miles, the Alabama player, who did this.
Now, new disturbing details emerging this morning in the deadly shooting of a woman who police say was killed by a former University of Alabama basketball player.
Using Darius as the cover boy for the story was much more attractive. It's amazing how Darius can lose everything and be held accountable for somebody else, but you can have women like Dominique Jones who literally sent men to delete a man and nothing happens to her at all.
Big facts. Big facts. Anybody know about her and Travis Randolph? The trial of Travis Randolph, where he got, he was not guilty, not innocent. It's the difference between not guilty and innocent. But he was not guilty. This young lady sent her brother after she got mad because this married woman got mad because a dude she didn't even tell that she was married to, that she was married, had other women in her phone, and she started hitting on him and lied and told her brothers he hit her, and her brothers came to the house. But the boy had a surprise for their ass when he pulled up, when they four dudes pulled up at 12 o'clock at night. He had an AK-47. And one of them didn't make it home. But Travis Randolph still had to go on trial for ending somebody's life that came to do him some harm. But she ain't gonna get put on trial. Everybody don't like her ass. But she didn't get put on trial.
If you want to see my review on that testimony, make sure you subscribe to my new channel. The link will be at the top in the description. So yeah, Malika Andrews bringing this up on a night that was supposed to be a great night for Brandon Miller. It just shows how and why she's being used by ESPN to sabotage black men. And we all know this wasn't her first time. You also have that time when former NBA player Adrian Payne passed away.
Shifting gears, former Michigan State star Adrian Payne was shot and killed in Orlando, Florida, early Monday morning, the Orange County Sheriff's Office said. And Payne was the 15th pick by the Atlanta Hawks in 2014, played 4 seasons in the NBA with multiple teams. In 2018, he was waived by the Magic after he was named in a report by ESPN's Outside the Lines that he'd been involved in an alleged sexual at Michigan State in 2010. No charges were filed in that case. Prior to playing in the NBA, Payne was a member of the All Big Ten second team in 2 of his 4 seasons with Michigan State.
She brought up those false Me Too allegations from when Adrian was in college. There was an investigation. He was never charged, but Malika thought that was appropriate to broadcast when he passed away. Oh, and remember the time when she really lost her mind with that Udoka situation?
When they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it.
If you don't know the story of that, Ime Udoka, he was caught cheating on Neil Long with one of his co-workers at the Boston Celtics. He's the head coach of the Boston Celtics. But everybody's argument is everybody showing Ime Udoka face and shaming Neil Long and telling him how horrible he is. But this was a consensual relationship. But ain't nobody talking about the woman. Why is the woman so protected? both of them was in the wrong, but why only one of them getting exposed and the other one getting protected? Let's see what Malika Andrews think about that.
Too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
Well,
that's the problem that I have right now. Everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was an investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to the conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side.
Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. The fact that it was able to go on all day.
Yeah, and she tried to son Stephen A., somebody double her age, on his own damn show. Y'all go look at the clip of that. Stephen A. checked her and corrected her. Like, hey, you ain't gonna shut me down on my show. I say what I want. I'm sorry, Steve.
The fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
Stephen A. was right in that conversation. And for Malika to try to son a man twice her age that's been doing this since before she was born, that was crazy. In her opinion, it was inappropriate to hold the woman accountable and question her, but Malika saw no problem with doing that over and over with Udoka, now Brandon Miller, and several other men, including the coach who replaced Udoka at Boston, Joe Mazzulla. She did the same thing to him.
That Joe Mazzulla will be the interim head coach here. You can see his resume on your screen. He's been a Celtics assistant coach the last 3 seasons after spending the previous 3 seasons at Fairmount State. And he played for West Virginia between 2006 and 2011, and now could become the NBA's youngest head coach at 34 years old. And we'd be remiss not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice at West Virginia, once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault. He pled guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic battery after an incident at Morgantown Bar. The domestic battery case never went to trial. It was settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and court costs, plus had to do 40 hours of community service. Now, that was 13 years ago.
And even when Brooklyn was looking at hiring Udoka as head coach, Malika stepped in with her rhetoric on ESPN, dragging Udoka once again, campaigning against Brooklyn hiring him.
Because it's not lost on me that Ime Udoka has done incredible things with the Boston Celtics. But it just seems like if we're having this conversation about Ime Udoka being hired by Brooklyn, where he was an assistant coach, accountability is the word I keep coming back to. Where is the accountability to women in the NBA? Zach, what do you make of this? Look, at the end of the day, very few people, I believe, are beyond redemption. And I'm not saying that that's the scenario here. But what I am saying is I sincerely hope that when we talk about due diligence and vetting, the Brooklyn Nets are taking into account multiple voices on this and who could be affected, because we know that this is going to be ongoing.
Brooklyn ended up not hiring Udoka, but a few months ago, he was hired by Houston as their head coach. Then Malika tried to Me Too Jalen Rose, acting like he was trying to touch her inappropriately on TV when he wasn't, just being a Karen.
Where does it, get your finger out of my armpit. We're just happy to see Jalen Rose welcoming in the man.
Let's go back. His finger was never in her armpit.
Rose, acting like he was trying to touch her inappropriately on TV when he wasn't, just being a Karen.
Where does it, get your finger out of my armpit. We're just happy to see Jalen Rose welcoming in the man. Where does it, get your finger out of my armpit.
Malika, she's been a problem for a while now, and she's always covering the NBA in a way that devalues the players, specifically the black men. I will say I do believe that ESPN is also behind all of this. It's a reason why they hired Malika and why she's still there when black men support that network more than anybody else. If black men decided they will no longer give them their eyeballs, then Malika wouldn't be there. Force them to get rid of her like they did the others. She's been doing this, which is why Giannis walked out on her that time.
At this point, you know, sometimes it takes experience. I'm wondering if now that you have some of that experience, if you see more validity to that point, or what you think about that now that you've gone through it.
Leave.
Oh, you gotta talk to these people. Okay.
Just about experience. I mean,
I guess she's gonna try to twerk it out again or something. You know, when these 304s get into a bind, they cry their way out, or they find a way to distract the men and make them forget about the problem. I think black men should be really serious about their image, especially on a network that they're funding with their viewership. You have to collectively get her out of there if you really want her going. What Malika and others are doing to Brandon Miller is not right, and I'm saying that because I actually know the details of the story that no one ever reported. Back in January, you have a lot of folks who just repeated the same headlines from the media. And if you go based off that, you wouldn't understand how Brandon was not charged because he shouldn't have been anyway. I think ESPN should have the misandrists and all the feminists cover the WNBA instead, and let's see if they do this with them over there. And maybe men should give ESPN the Bud Light treatment. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Special thank you to Joseph W.
We know what it's all about. You know, she's a divester. Like Candace Owens and Cynthia G. You know, those women out here who despise men of color. You know, I ain't gonna say men of color, just black men. And my opinion is this: if you don't fuck with us, keep our name out y'all mouth. Don't talk about how shitty black men is, and you don't want nothing to do with them. Clearly, I'm gonna pull off a shaming tactic that women do all the time. Who hurt you? You must hate your daddy. You must be G-A-Y. Let me know how y'all feel. Hit that like, subscribe, become part of the kingdom. Gotta keep this content popping up. Gotta keep this content up.